Hey friends, just another post-apocalyptic week here in America. Most of you guys are well aware of the TikTok ban. Yours truly saw that services were suspended and you couldn't use the app anymore. And someone like me that doesn't like even digital clutter, I was like, delete. Anyways, 24 hours later when services were restored and I could no longer download the app from the App Store, I felt a little silly. Maybe I was premature, maybe I wasn't. I did read an article where people are now selling smartphones with TikTok on them for like $3,000, which is crazy. Another, financial opportunity squandered by yours truly. It does provoke some thought around digital sovereignty though. And as a creator, you've seen a lot of people in the space do some really interesting things with things around like Patreon or Substack or even YouTube. It's a reminder to all those successful or aspiring creative people that a platform could just go away. And that's not something that this generation has really had to deal with. I'm old enough to remember MySpace. And we all know what that was like. It was very successful. I used to book shows almost exclusively for a while on MySpace. And it was a great tool for musicians. And then it was no more. And it was done. And that was replaced by, Facebook, essentially, as far as a habit goes. And Facebook was much more of a closed ecosystem to where it was really limited to your direct friend group at the time, which had its positives. And it's obviously way more of a successful business. And you even get to sit in the rotund at the inaugural ball and stare at women who are scantily dressed. Anyway, I digress. But MySpace was something that musicians could leverage to build community. And that's something that, in that wake, it took musicians a long time to figure out how to do that. And it seems as soon as musicians kind of figured out how to use Facebook or Facebook ads or Facebook groups, there would always be some change to the algorithm that would completely undo the reach of creators. So you have these content creators, you have these musicians or artists that have leveraged TikTok's platform and the death of what they call the follower, meaning the algorithm is now powered to show content to people that they think they'll like because they know you better than you know yourself. You're welcome. That you didn't have to really try to build a community. Now you could try to pull that community off the platform, but that is very difficult. But it's a reminder to musicians that if a platform goes away, in a way, your community goes away. And so part of what has spurred me to go to YouTube, invest more in my mailing list, and even my Substack, is that I want to own that piece of the community myself. I don't want it to be on just one platform. And that's easier said than done. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. Please like this video. It does go a long way. Check out my website, dylankight.com. That's much more geared to my original music, my shows, all that stuff. But I do think it's important if you're a creative person to be thinking about what is your community and do you have access to that community? And what I mean by that is if you don't have the ability to communicate directly to that community that you're able to garner attention from or pull off that platform, it's not a ticking time bomb, but it's not really yours. And I think that's what we've seen in TikTok. We've seen a lot of those content creators' business evaporate potentially overnight, and they're having a hard time. You're seeing them try to build something similar on Instagram, but Instagram's algorithm is far different. It rewards different type of behaviors and rewards people that are consuming content differently than, say, TikTok. This is an unscientific video, but this is just coming from someone who creates things. It is difficult to focus on any one platform or feel like that, you've really got, I don't want to say a partner, but that you feel comfortable on that platform. And let me give you another example. If you're in the stateside, there was a lot of tech companies at the inauguration this past week. And however you feel about that is on you. But I know for a lot of folks, it's made people reconsider which platforms they want to be on for whatever reason. Because in a way now you're tied to the political leanings of whatever, that tech company is, financially backing or with their presence supporting. And so you look at like let's say X. So it's not just TikTok, but I have friends that have leveraged X that are journalists, that it's a true social media platform with true reach outside of your contacts, that it changes ownership. And we've seen a lot of people leave X. Now, before you get in the comments and tell me how free speech is being protected, save yourself the time, okay? This video is more about if you're a creative person and there's a change in ownership or there's a government mandate, as a creative person, your entire community could be evaporated or they could be displaced, because whether you like it or not, even if half the country agrees with somebody like Elon Musk, his approval ratings is in the 30s nationally in the United States. So you have people that aren't using that platform as much as they were, even if there are new people, because they don't like the guy that's running it. And that impacts creators. Now you might say, well, there's less bots, and we don't know that. You don't know that. I don't know that. And judging by the people that create content, you don't find many successful people that aren't spewing political stuff, left or right, that's getting much reach. Now, if you're on OnlyFans or you're an adult content creator, I'm sure it's great. But, you've found the wrong page for that. So whether it's X, whether it's TikTok, we have to make sure as creators that we are looking at our creative work in our community in a singular way. And that you need to own that. You need to find a way to speak directly to that community. And if one of these platforms goes away, you don't have to start over. And that's what we're seeing on TikTok. And I hate that for those people. They have spent a ton of time and a ton of resources. But instead of spending those resources, that time, effort, energy into building a platform for somebody else, meaning a tech company, which there is a trade-off, you are the product, focus on your own community. And that's what I want to do here. And I'm curious what you think. How does all the turmoil in the tech space impact the way that you consume information? Have you deleted apps because of who owns something? Have you been negatively impacted by TikTok going away? Has it changed the way that you interact with said creators? I'm curious. As someone who is trying to speak directly to an audience, I'm curious to what you're having to do and how it's negatively or positively impacting you. Because maybe I'm not seeing the forest of the trees, and maybe it's great for you. Maybe. I doubt it. If you missed the big news, I did release a new single, Dark Water. It is available on all streaming platforms. They were able to put that up there even though they were all in Washington, D.C., kissing a lot of pale white derriere. But it is up on streaming platforms. It's also on my website. This single is also going to be on my album that comes out in a couple months called Late Bloomer in a Wallflower Suit, which I look forward to telling you a lot more about that soon. I'm super excited about this release. I'm getting vinyl copies made, and I hope that you stay tuned for more about those songs and about what this album means to me specifically. But stay safe out there in that digital world, and let me know, how are all these changes affecting you? Till next time.